Welcome to the Inside Texas Football YouTube channel powered by InsideTexas.com. This is the press conference reaction. Steve Sarkisian earlier today had his Thursday Zoom, talked about Arch Manning, talked about Michael Taft, talked about some of the guys behind him, talked about his team as they get set to come home for the first time in 42 days. So before we get going, make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Head to that first link in our description. Sign up for Inside Texas for just $1. You can also scan the QR code that you see right by Arch Manning's head. Join the best Texas Longhorns community. Get the best Texas Longhorns insight and see everything, read everything, hear everything you need to hear as Texas gets ready to go on its November gauntlet. So sign up for Inside Texas, all the things available to you right there. Evan, today we get to talk a little bit about what Sark mentioned during his press conference, and I think we got to go over first the number 16s. Mentioned that Arch Manning did practice again today. Still very vague with the protocol, as he is, more than within his right to do. Talked a little bit about also Michael Taft, and he also practiced today. Positive steps for Texas as they look to get back to number 16s.
Yeah, given their injuries, a concussion and needing thumb surgery, I'd say they're probably a little more advanced than you might have thought on this Thursday compared to maybe a week ago or at least last Saturday. But Manning, it's all up to what the doctors say and how those guidelines actually allow him to play football. I think he's on step 4 of 6 in the protocol, 3 or 4, to where he can't play full contact practice, but he's able to do outdoor activities and actually, throw a football, which I assume is what they mean by he was practicing, which was throwing the football without contact. So if he's able to play contact tomorrow, that probably means he'll be able to play in a game on Saturday. Taft, we just don't know as much because he's coming off of a surgery. If he did play, probably be with a club around his hand there, which would be quite a sight to see. But what I asked Sarkisian about and what he elaborated on at the end of the press conference was kind of about you don't have these number 16s and they're still going to be questionable to report, and the players know that there's a chance they're not without them. What have you seen from your players as it comes to leadership and intensity in practice? Are they showing that they're stepping up for them? He named a ton of players, John. He just kept going down the line and over talking about how. So I think the two he really mentioned were DJ Campbell and DeAndre Moore really coming to their own as leaders over the last calendar year, but really the last month. And he said that this month has been great, especially on the road for some of these transfer guys like your Brevards and Canus, and also like a Ty Anthony Smith or Xavier Filsaime or Jelani McDonald on defense, who might be a little younger, to really step up into these leadership roles, because that's what Texas is going to need to play against a real veteran team, as you pointed out a lot, in Vanderbilt, potentially without your two biggest leaders on this team.
Yeah, we kind of know what it looks like if Michael Taft's unable to go. A lot of Jelani McDonald, Xavier Filsaime, Derek Williams, maybe some other guys getting some nods in there. But when it comes to Arch Manning, we've heard Steve Sarkisian talk all week about the confidence in the program within Matthew Caldwell, whether that's from coaches, from players. We saw that play out on social media. And then Sark even talked a little bit about how there may or may not be any big game plan changes from Texas if number 18 has to play instead of number 16.
Yes, Sarkisian said that there's not going to be much change going on with this team. They're going to operate the same way with Caldwell as with Manning. I don't know if I fully buy that. I do think Caldwell is more the RPO guy, and maybe you're going to have less shots downfield if he's in the game. But either way, Texas is going to need to win the ball control game, have as many or more possessions of full field football than Vanderbilt does in this game. And there is definitely a lot of confidence surrounding Caldwell. I think for our Inside Texas readers, you've heard that our guys like him, our sources like him, the players like him, Sarkisian clearly likes him. Seems like it was a really good fit. This guy could be starting for Auburn right now, for all we know. Kid was from Auburn and probably should have gone to Auburn and started there instead of Jackson Arnold for Hugh Freeze's team, for Freeze, Joe. But I do think that there's not going to be a ton of drop-off with Caldwell. I think it's just going to be a bit of a different operation. But, yeah, Sarkisian's operating the team the same way he would with Caldwell and with Arch. And I think the players are ready for this, and they knew that this might happen. It's happened a lot with Texas. They've had to use a backup every single year of Sarkisian's tenure. So I do think that maybe this isn't totally unexpected, and the players are ready for this.
One of the other things that was really cool to see was Sark talked a lot about what you've written about, the strong side, quick side tackles. Talked about Emmett Mosley really emerging. And he also talked at length about maybe not necessarily the spread passing situations, but the situations that lead to spread passing. And that's, those 2-minute drills before half, before, when you're trying to tie, that Texas has, at certain points in the year not succeeded in. but then finally found a little bit of success against Mississippi State. And hopefully that's something that Sarkisian and company want to continue to bring as they go forward with Vanderbilt, Georgia, Arkansas A&M.
When you rep your team, don't stop at the jersey. Dollar Shave Club's collegiate razor handles combine grooming with glory, letting students, grads, and fans show their school spirit and style. From the sink to the stadium, shave with school pride. Visit dollarshaveclub.com today and grab your college razor handle and hook them.
Yeah, Sark's made me look good this week. But from these Thursday talks and even one that we had recently on last Monday, Sark's really talked about what his Fridays looked like with us. And it was before the Mississippi State game. He said that he really sat down his receivers in that hotel and said, here's some plays that we need you guys to be able to operate. And he used examples from the NFL from the year prior or even years prior of Texas or other teams. Like Alabama, I believe that Wingo screenplay was an Alabama play call Sark had done with Jalen Waddle. So he said that on Fridays, which will be happening tomorrow morning, he also goes over this kind of situational schemes that he wants to go over. The 2-minute drill was one that was asked about specifically, but he said that there's a variety of different things, and he really has locked in on this year on having the right schemes ready for these really weird scenarios that you might be in, whether that be 2-minute drill or like 30-second drill where you need to get your team down the field and kick a field goal. That wasn't an exact thing he mentioned, but it seems like those Fridays are really for the technical, like, hey, this is our last little bit of information we need in before we play on Saturday. And so, especially for Vanderbilt, where these possessions are going to be lesser and you're going to have a clear cutoff of how many times you're going to be able to score in this game, I think that's where situational football becomes really important. And so it's interesting to hear about like what they're doing the day before the game that's hopefully leading to success there on the field.
Yeah, it's like studying for a test. What's that last thing you want to cram in there? What's the last thing you want to figure out? And he talks a lot about so many of the different leaders being situational masters and things like that. And it's definitely something that I feel like that you're seeing growth with this team. So often when these 2023 guys who came back for 2024, they're coming back and playing, they have these battle tested war wounds on them, and they know what these situations are like. And of course they weren't always perfect, but they were there. A lot of young guys on this team haven't been in those situations as often, and we're still seeing some of that progress. Not as many guys as we'd like, but the fact that they were able to go and get it done against Mississippi State, even if they are 0-4 in the SEC, that is something that you like to see and hope that your team can definitely replicate. Talked a lot about Ty Anthony Smith, talked a lot about a lot of other different players. We'll have all that over on InsideTexas.com, so make sure you come join. Hit that first link in our description or hit that QR code right there by Arch's head. We'll have all the latest practice information, updates on player availability, recruiting updates, and so much more over at Inside Texas. Also, the best Texas Longhorns community. So come sign up, join for just $1. We can't wait to see y'all over there as we get ready for the Vanderbilt game. So, Evan, thank you so much. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time on the Inside Texas Football YouTube channel powered by InsideTexas.com.